Hi everyone, it's me, Krylios, Team Racing Productions MC and producer. And I am so happy that we have our wonderful guest with us today, Anthony Lorenzo Green. Hey Anthony.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm doing pretty well. Let's begin, introduce yourself to our viewers, and let's talk about this really important issue.
Absolutely. Well, as you stated, my name is Anthony Lorenzo Green. I serve as an advisory neighborhood commissioner for 7C04, which is in the Deanwood community in Ward 7. I've been serving as an ANC for nearly a decade now in both Northeast and Southeast. And I also serve as a co-organizer with Black Lives Matter DC. It's very important for me to be here today in this space and really to elevate the voices that we know that don't get heard a lot. And that's just my main mission in service to community and just my contribution to making our society better for all of us to live here.
Certainly. And it's the talk of the town right now, what happened to Keisha Young at Nellie's. And for someone like me who is queer, I went to Howard. Nellie's is like a part of my, growing up into gay world, gay society. You know what, I used to go there every week to watch RuPaul's Drag Race. Like, that was my local home bars right there at Howard. And even then there were always allegations of mistreatment of Black patrons and customers and things of that nature. But this video that is going around, it's astounding, it's heinous. Give me your thoughts about that.
Well, first of all, the video is definitely traumatizing, and I definitely encourage folks who plan to repost that video, please put a trigger warning for Black folks, because it's not an easy thing for people or my grandmother just to be scrolling down Facebook and to see a Black woman being dragged down the stairs by her hair. And to see, the scene that happened in Nellie's, and thankful that it was another Black gay man that jumped up and started throwing hands. But at the same time, it's like, why are we back here again? Why are we back in this situation again with Nellie's? Why are Black folks still going to Nellie's? And that's, it's an easy question for me to ask, but it's not an easy one for a lot of folks to answer who are attached to the history of Nellie's and the space that was intended to be a safe space for LGBTQ folks in Washington, D.C. It's always a main location for Pride every year. But for me, as a same gender loving guy, Nellie's wasn't part of my Pride journey. So I wasn't, Nellie's wasn't my space, but it was a place that I did go to from time to time over the years, just growing up in DC. But it's crazy to see that and then just be like, why are we still there? It was just in 2018 where No Pride and No Justice, No Pride really pushed it to the forefront about, the traumatic thing they did by putting that Blue Lives Matter flag up on top of their establishment, saying that they wanted to, acknowledge queer cops. They're still cops. They're still cops, and the brute force of their oppression is always inflicted on Black and brown folks who so happens to be gay. So, let's be clear,
and if you look at it like that, then, it's that is not a celebration of Pride, because we know how Pride started. We know what Pride is.
And it's insulting. It's like, where's the history lesson in this? Where's the things that I used to complain about when I was young and fresh? Like, oh, well, why can't, Pride be like this? And why Pride be like that? And then we get to this place where it's all about capitalism, and trying to create representation in a space that's violent, like police departments. I don't want to be represented in something like that. I want people who look like me walk our path to be defiant and speak the values about what Pride was about. Pushing back against oppressive systems, pushing back against institutions that did not see us as individuals, that we should exist or even have a space for ourselves. So it's horrific that we have to go through this again. It's horrific to watch a Black woman going through that, being dragged down the stairs. It's horrific to see another video again in Washington, D.C.
Once again.
Let's
talk about their statement. They released a statement. Uh, not no apology to Miss Young in that statement, but they have stated that they've terminated that individual, the security officer or security guard, whomever, whatever, bouncer person, as well as that they're shutting down to reevaluate.
Hmm.
And tell me, what do you think about their statement?
Well, first and foremost, I'll elevate something that Miss Young mentioned when she was interviewed about, when she was told about the security guard or the security team being terminated. And she was like, maybe it wasn't just that security guard every time. Maybe this is something systemic.
Mhm.
This is something that's been ongoing. And to see in their statement where they're like, we're going to take a week off. Well, I remember when other Black folks like myself put in labor, you
Mhm.
know, to speak for me, speak for others, to encourage them, work with them, teach them, educate them about themselves, about the experience of Black and brown people in their establishments, and clearly it didn't click.
Mm.
Clearly that work, wasn't respected. It wasn't reciprocated with action that you do care and you do understand. You are learning what it is to be Black in DC and to come into your business and still feel like we're treated as criminals just because. And it's always steeped in stereotypes
Mhm.
and the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Oh, maybe you shouldn't have snuck this drink in. Excuse me. People deserve to get their humanity snatched away
Mhm.
over a
Mhm.
drink. That's what we're doing. That's not something that I support. And the only thing, in my view, that Nellie's could do to resolve this situation or make amends is to shut the hell down.
Mhm.
Period. Shut down. We've done enough talking. Too much people have done enough labor over the years about this.
Yeah.
We're done talking.
Uh,
We
and
need to figure out, use this week to figure out how y'all gonna get rid of this establishment from your books, turn it over to somebody else that cares.
Mhm.
However you want to figure that out, give it to a community organization, LGBTQ Black led, Black,
Mhm.
owned, maintained, prideful organization that can maybe run this business better,
Yep.
and give proceeds back to the community the way that we should have an economy that gives back to the people that prop up and maintain your survival in this institution. So, my only solution for them would be to just leave. We're
I I
done.
I see that. I hear that. And you mentioned prideful organizations, right?
Yeah.
And many different organizations around DC, LGBTQ affiliated, related, in any way. Many have now been releasing statements over the past few days about what has happened at Nellie's, from Whitman Walker to Stonewall Kickball League to everyone's releasing statements now. What do you want to see? How do you want to see local organizations handle this? Do you think statements are just enough? What would you want to see, organizations actually do to combat this, to tackle this, to help with this, and to just change what's going on there at Nellie's and in other bars too around Washington DC?
Oh yes, other business establishments who have similar experiences across the city, and
Certainly.
it's great to get statements, but it's all about what you say in those statements, right? Don't waste my time. That's how I look at it when I see those statements. Don't waste my time. Are you saying something? Are you making a demand or an action? Are you going to follow through on something? None of this clouded language about, oh well, we hope that they get better. No, you need to make a demand as well. And if you need help with what demands you need to make, there are people on the ground who are making it clear what those demands are, from
Hmm.
Keisha herself to other different organizations that went out and jumped in to try to help and support this woman, from other individuals and other commissioners who are trying to, organize and
Yeah.
coordinate, so that we can do something effective and putting pressure on this business, with paper, all of these parts are moving at the same time. And we want all of these organizations, whether it's Stonewall Capital Democrats or Smile DC or whoever have events at this establishment, partner with this establishment, use them as sponsors. This is the time where you finally need to cut your ties.
Yeah.
Finally, because this has been a process that folks have been trying to get people to for a long time. And we have to put respect on Black women, Black femmes, Black trans women who really been leading this in a way for years, really trying to get their message across about their experiences here. Folks like to cherry pick and say because they have good experience with this individual or that group of people, everything is fine. No, when one Black person hurt, we all hurt. We all a village. And when our village are crying out about their experiences, it is not for us to nitpick and to push it down and say, well, that ain't happened to me, not my problem. It's a pattern here. I'm sorry. And we have to own up to that. And as Black gay men, we have to really lean in, and I have to also reminded, I'm also reminded as someone that grew up here, wow, I'm like, yeah, Black gay men are always the ones that have to jump in and protect our sisters. Cause it's a conversation even in my own community and other communities trying to challenge folks that we need to do better. We need to step up and be more protectors and keepers of our village. But that's the struggle. That's the struggle.
That's the struggle.
And I'm committed.
I love that. And so to close this out, I for anyone out there who wants, resources, who wants, to find a way how they can help, how they can go with the fight, boycotting, anything to that effect, give them some information, a little bit of resource, and how they can follow you, keep up with you, what you're doing, and anything like that.
Absolutely. I definitely encourage everyone to follow Black Lives Matter DC's Twitter page, which is DMV Black Lives. We're going to be promoting and uplifting different organizations, message, actions, initiatives, you name it. We're going to make sure that people are getting connected to the right places they feel they can do the work. Also, hop on Instagram, Black Lives Matter DC, and follow us. If you want to follow my personal page, I'm Lorenzo Ward 7 DC on Twitter. Definitely engage with us. And, the only way that we get free is if we come together as a village and do what we need to do to keep our people safe, the way that we see safety and make sure that we maintain safe places for all of our family. And that includes accountability. That includes speaking forthright about violence and harm done to our people in our spaces and outside of our spaces. We have to be diligent at all times. Because, it's all about us. We all we got. And we got to act like it.
That's the truth. Thank you so much for joining me today, Anthony. It's been a fabulous discussion. And I hope to see all the change that we want to see happen, especially with this situation. And we're sending well wishes and love to Keisha Young and all people who have been, hurt or victimized or anything like that in any way by any of these establishments in Washington, D.C. Once again, thanks for being here, Anthony.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And to our viewers, make sure that you keep following us. The links to everything Anthony mentioned will be in the description. And thank you for watching. Bye, everyone.